analysis with Jaden Ivey next.
Hmm.
He's a point guard that definitely is, considered the first guard in a lot of mocks being taken, unless you're looking at a mock from somebody that you don't know. But he's usually he's kind of the consensus guard that's being taken off. So I wanted to ask the guys what they think about his style of play, who do they remind him of, where you can see him going in the draft. And so I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, he might have let me down in the March Madness tournament, man. But this guy's an NBA player, man. Day one, NBA player. He's got the length. He's got the athleticism. I like the form of the jump shot, man. He has a little deeper range than the traditional guy. Man, this guy's going to translate immediately. And I don't know, man. Last year, Jalen Suggs, man, looking like complete doo-doo shooting the basketball in the NBA. Complete trash set shooting. Great athleticism, man, but complete no shot at all. But Jaden Ivey's, man, I don't think that's going to be a problem this year, man. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think that shot's going to translate immediately, man. And, dude, if he gets in the right situation, dude, he might win Rookie of the Year. Might win Rookie of the Year first year, man, dude, because this guy, primary ball handler, primary playmaker, man, he can immediately affect the franchise immediately at the point guard position. But a lot of these guys, like out recently with these drafts right now, dude, NBA studs are coming out of every year. Every freaking year right now. Players 18, 19 years are making immediate impact. Even though this draft doesn't have a consensus number one, Jaden Ivey could turn out to be the best player in the draft, man. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because all the forwards, like, I don't know why there's such a tier drop-off with Bonchero and Smith and Chet Holmgren. Like, I don't know why that's a big 3-tier. Like, the consensus draft experts all love those guys so much. I'm like, man, come on. I don't see it. I don't see the consensus, man. Like, I saw the consensus with Zion, RJ, and Ja. Like, that made sense. But this consensus, I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I don't know why Jaden Ivey get so much love, but I feel like this guy can be the best player in the draft, man, compared to those forwards, man.
Well, I know Zoo's been waiting to say that on the podcast for about 3 weeks now, for sure. We're waiting for the Jaden Ivey topic. I mean, Zoo, I agree. I think he's the most explosive player in the draft. I mean, if you're looking adding that onto being a top 10 player in this draft, I'm sure there's some guys that can jump out of the gym going in the second round. But this guy, I mean, 6'4", 200. Zoo, I think he's got a little Ja Morant in him, just with his explosive. He loves to attack the rim. I mean, this guy, yeah, he can hit the step backs. He can hit the pull-up threes in transition. But he likes to get to the rim. He's aggressive. He's kind of at that Donovan Mitchell combo guard height. Yeah. 6'4".
Yeah, he's like strong looking too, man. His body's like built.
He slashes. He slashes a little like Wade too. I think in his driving ability, but I think his explosiveness is crucial. He can hammer it down. I mean, we saw him a couple poster dunks Zoo in Big Ten play against Indiana. Oof, watching him play Indiana twice was tough, but. This is tough, Sean, because I think he's going to go. I don't know where he's going to go. I think a lot of people have him at 4. I think if he slips to 5 to the Pistons, I think they'd have one of the best young backcourts.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
That would be scary.
Jaden. I think that's the best fit, not just because Zoo, you're a man of this guy. You take the best player available, man, no matter what you have on your current team.
Yep.
Cade, you always talk about, teams in the lottery. Anyone's tradable. I think Cade is out of that question. They obviously wouldn't trade Cade, and he'd have to play alongside him. But I think Cade would be the primary handler, and I think you'd run Jaden as the combo guard, just because I think he's a bit more explosive, and you can get him on slashes.
But he can play off ball and
play a little ISO ball. But I also think that if needed, they can switch roles at any point. And if you have that, you want to talk about something that the Celtics might need. Those guys can both handle the ball. And, I'm not saying the Celtics should trade in the draft if they want to move Jaylen Brown and try and move up in the draft for a Jaden Ivey type player. I wouldn't say that'd be a bad move, but you're betting big there. So I think any team that if you have a lot of big men, of course, you're going to look at this guy. And we know a lot of the teams in the upper of the lottery have that situation. But I agree. I think he's the most talented player in the draft. I think he's the most NBA ready player in the draft.
For sure. I think he's NBA
and people underestimate his defensive ability, man. He's got long ass arms and he loves to play those passing lanes. So I think he has it all. I think he just does need to work.
I don't know why. Why are these experts having this 3-forward tier?
You know how it is.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the
three big guys. Things come in threes, man. You add a fourth, it just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Well,
Like,
man,
I
I'm
think
just like Pine
I just think
Cheryl.
it's
I can see that guy buster, man. I just can't. I just see him being
Little
like a
Jabari
nobody.
Parker in him.
Oh.
Hey,
shout out to
good
Jason Tatum for
prospects, no
saying
hate.
Jabari Parker was freaking
Yeah,
better than
Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins.
I'm sure somebody said that to Wiggins at some point in this.
No, he definitely
before
saw
the
that.
series.
He definitely saw that. Jason was just sticking up because he's from St. Louis and Jabari is a Chicago kid. I get it. Like, it's they're in the same
Oh,
area.
my Lord. What a bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jabari Parker was a tough one.
I thought it was going to be so good.
I agree with you guys though with Jaden Ivey. He's to your point, people, NBA ready. I think he's going to come in, put him on the floor, and he's just going to figure it out. Because, like I said, when you're that athletic and you also have an ounce of skill, that means you're going to be able to translate to the NBA very well. To me, I think just in terms of his stature, he reminds me of Westbrook. Like, Ja, athletically, I could say he's probably around Ja, but I just think his stature and how Westbrook kind of looked when he came out, they kind of got the same build.
Yeah.
And they're like quick twitch. I would say athleticism is there. So, anytime you're dealing with guards, it's in this day and age, you got to think about shooting. And I think he shoots it well enough to where if he gets on a majority of the rosters, he'll be able to blend with whoever the other guard is. Like you say with Cade, I think has to have the ball in his hands. So I think he would be a perfect complement to Cade because Cade's going to feed him on the wing or feed him cutting through and doing whatever. So I think that could be a really good pairing. Plus 2 would be the best available player probably if he slipped to number 5. If I'm Sacramento, though, you already gave up Tyrese Halliburton. Just draft Jaden Ivey. Because at this point, if Jaden Ivey is who we think he is, and he ends up – because, Davion Mitchell, I don't see being the lead guard for the Sacramento Kings. He could probably be a nice guy that maybe can come off the bench. I just don't see him growing into this. Yeah, 6-man. I don't see him growing into a lead guard that's going to set up others and do all that type of stuff. But if Jaden Ivey comes in as the real deal, then De'Aaron Fox can definitely be dealt. There will be suitors for De'Aaron Fox, and you can get a nice haul back for him. And then you have Ivy, picks. Yep. It could be a nice little situation. I don't know if they would – I don't think I would give up.
That's a lot of that's putting a lot on.
Do that.
A lot of faith on De'Aaron right there.
Yeah, I don't
no hate. He's good.
Yeah,
you just never see him play.
But I do say if, like you say, you draft Jaden and he's the real deal, and you think De'Aaron Fox is expendable, then that just gives you another trade piece, and then you have a situation of Demonte Sabonis, Jaden Ivey. You have a nice 1-2 punch, and that could maybe get you to the playoffs for the first time in however long it's been for the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento, though, man. That franchise is cursed, though, man. If anything, I don't want Jaden Ivey on there because Mike curse his career, man. Like, legit, Mike.
Or you can turn it around. You never know.
I don't think anybody could turn around. Like, only like Michael Jordan could turn around that franchise.
Hey, new head coach.
Mike
Brown,
right?
You know my thoughts about Mike Brown. Absolute.
I
joke,
do.
Man. You better thank LeBron for getting you that job because Jesus Christ.
Well,
the Golden State Warriors, man, and the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, lead assistant. But
Jesus Christ,
there's probably I've been seeing a lot of talk, and because it's the Kings, the Kings just don't ever make the right draft picks. But I've been seeing a lot of talk with them taking Shaedon Sharpe, which if they were to do that, and then he does end up going to Detroit. Like, that might be one of the biggest steals in the draft that actually ends up happening. Now, I'm in the camp because there's a lot of people who hadn't seen his tape, but I've watched a lot of Shaedon Sharpe, dude. He is not like he's the classic guy of 4 years from now. We'll be like, why didn't he go top 1? Because he's a 6'8", 6'7" guy who can dribble, can score, and he just doesn't have a lot of film. So people are like, we don't know what he is. He didn't play college, so we don't. But it's like, if you go watch his AAU stuff, and I know his high school, like, you just look at the guys, like, he's got the skill set. So
but
it's
my
like,
question, though,
the skill set is.
My question, though, is he's got the athleticism. Like, he got freaky
and
bounce,
the shot.
Man.
Yeah.
And he got a nice shot. But you know what he reminds me of? J.R. Smith.
And that's good.
I don't know. As a top 5 pick, though. I'll take J.R. Smith in a late lottery.
And he's a champion.
J.R. Smith.
Ask LeBron that question.
Oh, my Lord. I can't get over this.
Young J.R. Smith, go look back at his highlights. He was tough. He was tough.
Good, but he was a really elite. He was a 6 man. But when I'm drafting in the top 5, I want an all-star caliber guy. Like if you visually look at him, he passes the eye test.
Yeah,
6'8" wing that shoots and scores. And like you say, I love Ivy, but if both of those guys are at the apex, Shaden Sharp's
No. Jaden Ivey. No.
You're going against your logic because you always say wing players win championships.
Sharp is more 6'5", 6'6". He's more of a 2. He's
bigger than Ivy. Is what I'm saying. He's a bigger wing.
By like an inch. Like Jaden Ivey, a big point guard.
He's a bigger guard.
He in a 6'2". He's
Donovan.
He's 6'4", 190. And he's got he's got a little Donovan Mitchell too in him, man. The body type too.
I feel like he's bigger than Donovan.
Yeah, he's a lot taller. He's 2 inches taller than Donovan Mitchell.
But Donovan's strong though.
Yeah, Donovan's a big, strong, burly dude. So, dude, Jaden Ivey though, I just look at this guy. I'm like, this guy ain't gonna bust. This guy ain't gonna bust. He's gonna be an NBA starter for a decade, man. An NBA starter for a decade, going leave top of the draft. OKC, man. OKC might have their eye on him. But the thing is, they got Shea. But my boy Presti don't miss with picks. So if he's smart, man, he might be like, "Yo, I'm gonna get the best player available and take this."
Watch him take Shade,
or maybe trade back, get some
he
more
trade
draft
back
picks.
A spot,
that is a classic Presti move. He might trade back a pick just to get a future first rounder on top of that. So
on top of the 20 he already has.
Exactly, on top of 20, maybe they make a deal. But it's very, very interesting because if you look at Orlando, like the franchise, I don't know what their philosophy of drafting is. I don't think they're going to take a guard. And obviously Houston, they got so many guards with Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. Like, they got a lot of guards. So I don't know what their philosophy is either. I think their franchise is pretty stupid, so they might do something dumb and take Banchero. But my God, Sacramento, I'm praying to God he doesn't go to Sacramento.
Yeah. That'd be tough.
But if you're Sacramento and you're high on Ivy, you need to take.
If you're Sacramento, you take him. Yeah. I'm talking about if I'm Jaden Ivey's agent, man.
No,
if I'm Jaden Ivey's agent, man, I want get him to Detroit. Get him to Detroit, man, because I feel that fit for the future.
Never thought you'd say that, right, Zoo?
Yeah, no. I like their young core, man. With Cade Cunningham, I'm super high on Cade Cunningham. He went from having one of the most inefficient starts and turning around, averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, man. This dude's gonna be averaging 25 and 5 for his career, man. Like, this dude's just his IQ, his passing.
Smart.
Some people just don't have that passing gift. It's a gift. It's an IQ that you develop early, and some people don't have that, and he's got that. And getting that efficiency up, man, getting that shooting percentage up, man, that could develop with working with an NBA trainer. But that passing, that's something that some people just can't ever develop. Exactly. It's an instinct that some people just have, ability to think that quickly. So I'm like, man, Jaden Ivey with him, man, I love that fit. If I'm Detroit,
gold.
Oh, I'm praying, man. Or you trade up. Trade up.
I think this is an instant where you
trade up if you think
they might not have to, because Sacramento's probably going to screw that.
You know what they're going to? I think they'll trade.
They probably won't have to.
Well, if they do that though, they could package Jeremy Grant if they're drafting Jaden Ivey too. I mean, Jeremy Grant's not a scrub.
Jeremy Grant, whatever.
He's not a scrub though. I mean, he could give a team 20 if he wanted to, right? So I mean, he's a good 3-and-D guy. Was big for the Nuggets. Kind of made his money in Detroit. Which, hey man, get your bag, do whatever you need to do.
80 million.
But if they did want to move up, he'd probably be the guy to move since you're bringing in another guard anyways.
Yeah, man.
So I think we're all in agreement. Jaden Ivey is going to be the most ready player, and that's kind of how it goes with the guard. If you're an elite guard coming in the draft, you're always usually ready made. Like Jaden. Now, who else was the guard a couple years ago that came in?
Derrick Rose.
That's just talk about years ago.
That was a decade.
I keep forgetting I'm old.
Somebody had a funny picture of Derrick Rose where it showed him. NBA, like 2K.
The NBA 2K video. Derrick Rose has been good. This line is a freaking safe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, low key true though, man.
So bad.
My boy's been good for like 2 years.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of point guards that come in and they're
just ready to go. That's how it goes, because you got the ball in your hand, and now too how the game is catered to the guard.
Yeah,
you like by the time you're 16, 17, you're pretty much ready made. A lot of those guys can go into the NBA then.
Play high pick and roll, man.
Yeah,
high pick and roll every game. Yes. Oh, jeez.
So we're gonna see. It's gonna be very interesting because the draft right now we have our solidified lottery, but there could the draft is coming up in a week or a couple of weeks. In next week, maybe
23rd, man.
23rd next Thursday.
A little over a week, man. A little over a week.
So we're definitely, I feel like with OKC, with all the ammunition they have, they might be doing some trading. And if we see a trade come across and they're trading back, we might be looking at Jaden Ivey going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, because it just makes all the sense in the world that if they're trading back, that's the guy they're probably targeting, I would say.
Shea for Jaylen Brown.
Wouldn't be mad at that.
man.
I like Shea a lot. I don't think
There's
Jalen's
options.
representatives would want to go to OKC,
Yeah.
but who knows?
Sam Presti, though, man. He doesn't
He don't
miss.
miss.
So
He don't
whoever he drafts, I'm going to be automatically more bullish about that person just because of
Yeah,
Sam Presti.
pretty much.
Because this guy just doesn't
Fair.
miss, which is incredible for NBA track record. Even the best GMs misses, but this guy does it.
How many first round picks if you were an organization you're trying to get Sam Presti? How many first round picks is he worth?
Dude, I'm like whatever. Like if we didn't have Arturis, like when we had Garpax, I wanted Sam Presti. That was also a rumor that the Bulls were looking at him, but I would have gave whatever. I would have given him a max contract for a GM. So there's no salary cap. There's no salary cap. $20 million a year. Turn around this freaking franchise. Reinsdorf, $100 million. Sam Presti is that good.
He's fine.
He's that good because he turned up. He had a franchise in Oklahoma City. Irrelevant franchise, man. Irrelevant franchise, and he built a young core that was so good that only got blown up because the owner was cheap. Owner was cheap as hell, and was still able to rebound. He built a Western Conference contender, and this guy, basketball genius, man. He knows how to draft players, and the guy
he started at 29.
Yeah, and he was able to he was even in really bad situations. Recover from Kevin Durant, the Kevin Durant departure, was able to get Paul George for Westbrook, but the problem is he had Russell Westbrook, so he couldn't get it done with that dude. But it was the finesse for Chris Paul. And then they traded away Chris Paul for more picks. This is the guy that trades a paperclip to a house, man. That's what he does, man.
Yeah.
Legit, like he traded Chris Paul twice away for additional draft picks, man. They got Al Horford. They got a pick. And then he traded away Al Horford and got another first-round pick, man. This guy's the master finesser, man.
He knows the teams that are on their knees begging, and they're kind of he puts a lot of teams in submission. He just chokes a lot of teams out, and he puts them they're pretty much against their will, and he just always ends up winning. Like you said, they always say sometimes in trades, like you don't always win the trade, but he is probably the one example that he usually wins the trade.
Or he feels that way, or knows in the future that he's going to get something out of this.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting too. Like with his drafting, I don't think we're not all worried about that, but in terms of just how he builds that team, that will get interesting with all the young talent that they got. Because at some point, you it's cool to have all these draft picks, but you gotta kind of get into the playoffs and start making moves. So maybe 3 years from now, we'll start judging him if he's not doing that. But he does know how to build a roster. So I don't think there's if the team's not if the team's not competing, it might be because the coach isn't good, because he knows how to get.
Yeah, he legitimately hired the cheapest coach possible.
Yeah, I don't know who the guy. He's like a G League guy, wasn't he? Pretty sure he's coaching the G League. Yeah. So, like I said, draft's going to be interesting. Draft's coming up next week, so we will start probably seeing some shakeup with that. The NBA Finals will more than likely it'll be over, won't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely will be over.
Either way.
So we'll be seeing a champion in the next couple of days. So make sure you guys lock in the bullheaded_pod on Instagram. Make sure you tune into our Facebook under the same name. YouTube, Quantrell Knows, put up a lot of YouTube shorts with all the latest features with the NBA Finals, NFL, NBA Draft, things of that nature. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush,